Get Growing Facebook Live. Now on our YouTube channel as well. So you can check us out there with archive shows. We're in the greenhouse this morning, middle of February. Even though it feels like spring this year, it's still a ways from real spring in the garden, but there's lots of stuff we can talk about. Just gonna quick update from last week. I think it was last week or the week before that we tried to resurrect the waxed amaryllis to see what we could do, if it would survive, if we could rebloom it, etc., etc. We took all the wax and everything off, potted it up. We've got some leaf growth, but what's interesting is that this one is actually going to bloom for a fourth time. So hopefully there's enough juice in there and we got it at the right time that we'll be able to grow this extra spike of flowers and have it perform. But things are looking really good. I don't know what the root growth is like yet because I don't want to take it out of the pot and disturb it, so we'll just keep an eye on that. Kind of fun. Anyway, one little job that you can do, and you may be able to start this now or as soon as plants are sort of hitting the garden centers. You'll often see cool stuff like fuchsias, lantanas and things grown up as a small tree and becoming very popular in the garden centers now. You see a lot of them. They can be a bit pricey though, so you can make these yourself. So we're going to start one today, and we happen to have this one in the greenhouse. This was one that was bought as a standard last year. It's been happily blooming away and growing in the greenhouse, but we're going to start one with a young plant from last year, because you can get this in most cases in one season, especially starting early. So we've got a fuchsia here that we kept from last year. It was in a small pot. We potted it up in a big pot. We've been keeping it growing. It's got 2 stems, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter. What you want to look for, ideally, when you're shopping for a plant to start a standard like this, is one that hasn't been pinched or has one good strong leading stem. Also, look for a woody plant. So fuchsias get very woody. You can see the older stems here are very woody. They become a shrub, so they're strong enough to hold stems. Lantanas become a shrub. They make an excellent standard. You can also do it with coleus, geraniums, even your bigger shrubby things like brugmansias, iachromas, stuff like that. All make good woody container plants that you can train into a standard. So we're going to take this fuchsia. It's a little rangy at the moment, but we're going to fix that. This is a fuchsia marenca, so it is an upright growing fuchsia. As you can see, it really has a tendency to want to be an upright shrub. The upright fuchsias are probably the best ones to try to make a standard out of, although you can make it out of the weeping varieties. This one is made out of a weeping variety, so you can see you get a real cascade effect from the stems. You won't quite get the same cascade effect from an upright one, but you'll get a nice stem with a head on it. So that's what we're going to do with this marenca. So it does have 2 main stems. First thing we're going to do is decide which one is the stronger of the 2, and it's definitely this one. So this one's going to go. So we're going to go right back down to the base, and we're going to just prune out sort of as close to the stem as we can. We're going to prune out that stem. Now that stem is not garbage. There is probably 4 or 5 cuttings on there that we can take, and we'll do that. But then we've got this guy. So we've almost got, look at it, I mean, it's being an upright grower, we've really got a good start with this one. So what we'll do now, the second thing we do is we look at side shoots. So these are all little stems that are coming off the plant, which we want to get rid of. When you're growing a standard, all you want is growth upright. All the side branches need to come off as you're growing it. So we're going to get rid of all of these little side branches. We'll take them right off as close to the stem as possible. And then when we get up into the canopy here, you're going to see that we do have some side branches here growing. They have to go as well. So we're going to go in and we're going to take those out. But for now, we're going to leave another cutting there. For now, we're going to leave these stem leaves that are on here. So we've got little shoots that are turning into branches. We just pinch those out. And we get rid of all these little side shoots that are coming from the nodes. If you can preserve these big leaves at this stage, it's great because that just helps feed the plant. So we're pinching out all these little side shoots. We're just going to go all the way up and just keep pinching out those side shoots. Even as we get to the top, because this is not as tall as we want it to get, we still just keep pinching out those side shoots. Now these are all too small to root as cuttings, so they're just compost, but we're going to keep taking them out. There we go. That gives us a nice straight stem, leaves for the plant to keep growing well, but nothing going to turn it into a bush yet. We've also got a little crook in the stem here, not a problem. We'll take that out. The little stem starting to grow here, we'll get rid of that. So there we go. We're already halfway there. If, as it's growing, especially while it's young, if any new shoots start popping out from the stem, and they will while it's young, you just rub those off as you see them appear. And as it gets taller, you're going to see side branches develop. You get rid of those until the plant's the height you want it to be. Once the plant gets to the height you want it to be, then you give a light pinch to the tip and allow it to start branching. And that's what will develop the head. Starting with this one already that's a bit bigger, this is fantastic. We're going to have a head developing on this probably by the time we're ready to put it outside in May. So we got a great head start with this particular one. So now we've got the plant. We don't need to repot it yet. We will soon. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to start training the stem. It's got a few little nooks and curves in it that we want to get rid of. So we find a good strong bamboo stake. We'll sort of measure it up. Yeah, we can probably, I'm going to cut a little bit off the top of this one for now, just to make it, actually we'll do it off the thin end, just to make it not quite so tall at the moment. So there we go, we got our bamboo stem. That might be about the height we start. When it gets up to the top there, and over the top, we'll probably start pinching it and allowing the head to develop. You really can make these any height you want, up to about probably 5 or 6 feet. If you've seen fuchsia shrubs in Europe, they can be 5, 6, 7, 8 feet tall. So now we're going to take this and we're going to stake it. We're going to tie it. We've got these great sort of flexible plastic tube ties that you can get. And we're going to tie them around. These tube ties are they stretch, which is great, so you don't need to worry about the plant sort of pinching and stopping growing. It will stretch with them a little bit. So then when you see you've got these little crooked bends here, you want to just get in there. You can be a little forceful. Stretch them to the stem. This isn't going to be the last time you tie these, so you can be fairly tight with them. When we repot this, we'll restake it again. I've got this other crook here where it was, I can see it better this way. This other crook where it had a branch happen. So that's okay too, because we're going to take that, then we're just going to fix it again. I'm going to take that main stem here, and we're going to tie it sort of right at that crook. Oh, just broke that leaf. Tie that stem there. The nice thing about these little curves and things, as the plant grows, those will straighten out and they'll be much less defined as the plant gets older. So we're going to go right up. Keep the plant sort of well staked to the bamboo stake right now, because it's pretty fragile. Could break easily if bumped, knocked over. It's a little little shoot that I missed there. I'll clean that one out. And we'll get maybe one more tie on there for now. And that'll about do it. So for the moment, that's where we start. And that's where we stop. We've got it staked. We've got it pruned. We've got it starting to be trained to grow a nice straight stem, just like this guy here. And that's where we'll leave it for now. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep it in a sunny spot. We'll keep it watered. We'll keep it fertilized. As this tip grows, we'll tie it one more time. And then probably once it gets up over here, that's where we'll stop and pinch it and allow it to start branching as a head. So we'll keep that guy growing. We'll revisit him. Once you get going with them and you've got one, now might be the right time to start thinking about maybe pruning, restaking, etc. Now this one here was staked in with wire ties, which work well, but you need to be careful because they have no give in them. And they will cut the circulation off in the plant stem. So I'm just gonna refix this guy a little bit. I don't have any more of my twist ties, so I think what I'll do is I'll just use a couple of trusty zip ties for now, not put them on too tightly, because they work as well. But again, they don't give, so you need to be careful with them.
Jeff, Michelle is asking if the plant tube ties came from the dollar store.
I think you can get that at the dollar store. Oh, these are actually going to be too small. I think you can get that at the dollar store. I've seen it at garden supply stores, garden centers have it.
Lee Valley has it.
I think Lee Valley sells it. You can get it on Amazon. Comes in a big roll. You get lots of the tube, but it's great for tying anything really. When we did our bamboo tunnel or our willow tunnel, that's what we used to tie the willow tunnel up with. So it's pretty versatile stuff. So we're going to look at this guy quickly and look at, it's going to be ready to be cleaned up. It's got a nice weeping habit right now. We got a broken branch here, so we'll get rid of that. This is the time when you want to start thinking about maybe pruning a little bit. You can clip off any dead bits, any really weak bits. This piece here is very, very weak up here. We'll get rid of that. Lots of cuttings though. These long stringy ones, a broken piece. These long stringy ones should be all removed a bit. It'll lighten the head up a little bit.
Should you take off some of the seed heads that are growing?
It'll also, it'll also encourage some new growth. It's been blooming like crazy, so you want to remove these seed heads. Just pinch them. I can't get them with the pruners, but I can get them here with my little snips. But we can take all those seed heads off, and in fact, actually, in some cases right now, we can even just pinch that tip off, and then that will allow the plant to branch and grow some more. But yeah, all these seed heads should come off. With fuchsias, that's something that you're always going to watch through the summer. Take the seed heads off. Some varieties, the seed heads are edible and very tasty. So, you know, you can think about fuchsias even as a fruiting plant for the vegetable garden. But that's actually not too bad right there to start with. This side's a little bit not quite as tall, but we're gonna pitch back a little bit back here and here. We'll restake that when I find some ties, and it makes a nice standard, looking pretty good already. Got another broken branch there, another little damaged branch there. We'll take that off. There we go. It's looking pretty good. There'll be a few more seed heads and things to do, but you can have that basic look from what we've just done in your first season, so it's pretty cool. As I mentioned, fuchsias are great for that. If you're at a point where you want to start smaller, take some fuchsia cuttings, or if you've got some of your old-fashioned geraniums or pelargoniums, and you're taking cuttings right now, and you're taking the cuttings, you can select out good, strong, rooted plants that can be trained from this stage. So this is a cutting we took, I don't know, about maybe 10 weeks ago or so. It's growing really well, happy as anything. What this one does have is a good, strong, upright growth habit. So we can start with this one. Now, there's not much we do at this point, but you can see at the bottom here, there is another side branch growing. So what you want to do, like we did with the fuchsia, is just pinch out those side branches and just get rid of them. As you look up the stem, there are a couple of small side branches starting in there. They might not even be quite big enough to get out. They're almost, yeah, there we go. Fuchsia, you leave the big leaves that grew off the stem. Any little side branches can go. And there's your start of a standard. Let me find that piece of bamboo that I had. We can even get it going a little more and get it staked up to start training it in the right way. Then we'll move this up to a 6-inch pot and just keep it going. Continually pulling off side branches, allowing the main central leader to grow up. Any flower buds that form come out. Then you can easily get these to a standard in one season. So get some cuttings done if you haven't got any plants yet. As soon as the garden center gets their sort of annual babies in, look for ones that haven't been strongly pinched. Look for some of the older varieties. Now this could be a little tricky. A lot of the newer mass-produced varieties are really meant to be very compact, short, bushy plants. They are bred to send off side shoots like crazy. So you might need to hit a garden center that grows some of the older varieties that are less overbred, maybe is the good word, where you might get a geranium that's one of the old-fashioned ones that will want to grow tall and rangy, or a coleus variety that wants to be a very tall bush, and even the fuchsia varieties. So many of the fuchsias we see in the garden centers now are that's very tiny flowered, small leaved, very dwarf bushy ones, and they're not the ones that you can use to do this. You need the good old-fashioned fuchsias and geraniums and coleus and lantanas, which are fantastic, to make the best standards. So there's a fun project for you to get started with. If we have any questions now, Laura, we'll take some questions.
Yeah, we have a question from Sophie. She would like to do this with lantana.
Yep.
But she also wanted to know if you have any tips on new annuals you'll be getting this year.
Well, new annuals. We're going to start doing some plant portraits over the next few weeks. We'll pick some plants and talk about them. Are we getting some new annuals? Yeah, we've got some more new begonias coming. There's some wonderful, fragrant tuberous begonias that we'll have. We'll have more fuchsias. Again, some of the older varieties with the big blousy flowers that we know fuchsias should be. We're tinkering away with some fancy geraniums. Yeah, we're going to have lots of fun stuff for the spring. We should have the website updated by the end of February for pre-orders, so keep an eye on that. Yeah, lantanas. I didn't have one with me today. Lantanas, if you can find the old-fashioned lantanas, again, they'll be the best. They're very strong, upright growers, and work really, really well. It's just getting a little harder to find those. You can cheat and buy these standards already made. They're certainly available in a number of different varieties in the garden center, so keep an eye open for that. But yeah, we'll start previewing some of our sort of up-and-coming and interesting varieties of things that we'll have over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, for sure.
And Paula would like to know, she has some geranium plants in her cold cellar. When should she bring them out to pot them up?
So if you've been overwintering your geraniums or pelargoniums by sort of the leave them dormant and dry in the cold cellar scenario, I would start thinking about bringing them up now, potting them up, trimming them back, getting them growing now, because we're mid-Feb. By the end of March, if you started them now, you'd probably have some cuttings you could take off them. And end of March gives you April. Mid-May, you'd have 6 weeks again to get cuttings rooted off them. So I would be thinking about starting to get them out of your cold cellar now, get them potted, get them trimmed back, give them a shot of water, put them in a sunny window, get them growing. It's about the right time. Nice to feel like spring to do something like that, for sure.
That's all the questions.
All the questions
so
for today? All right, then we'll wrap it up there. Remember, all these videos are now on our YouTube channel. Just look up the Mason House Gardens Let's Get Growing YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, and you can catch all the older shows there as we load them up, and the new ones as well. Also, if you're a traveler, we got 6 more spots on our England trip that we'd love to get filled. It's going to be a fantastic trip. Chelsea Flower Show in May is always the epitome of what's going on in the gardening world. Anything new and cool, new designs, new ideas, new products, new plants. It's all at Chelsea, and a wonderful group of gardens in between. You can email Marjorie at masonhousegardens.com to get more information for that. So we hope you'd like to join us on that. Other than that, that's it for today. Get some cuttings going, get some standards made.